Nonito Donaire, known as the Filipino Flash, became a global sensation with his lightning-fast fists and knockouts. However, at 41, the gloss has faded. Behind the highlight clips and title belts is a man suffering more than any opponent in the ring. Obscurity, emotional weariness, and the terrible awareness that grandeur doesn't bring serenity. He was the nation's pride and a generation's hope. He lives quietly, rarely seen, heard, and virtually forgotten. This video shows Nonito Donaire's terrible life after the spotlight, which no one is talking about. A life of silence, not punches. Because sometimes the worst bouts aren't in the ring, happens after. In Taliban, Bohol, Philippines, Nonito Donaire was born on November 16, 1982. General Santos City, home of Manny Pacquiao, is where his journey begins. Donaire's family migrated to San Leandro, California, at 10 to pursue the American dream, leaving behind his comfortable surroundings. American life was hard at first. Donaire fit in poorly. After being bullied for his accent, size, and quietness, he said boxing was never about glory, about survival. Glenn Donaire, his older brother, entered the ring first. Nonito grudgingly followed, preferring to support his brother over winning. Trainers recognized anything exceptional quickly. His timing, reflexes, and poise. Filipino fans' long-held secrets were revealed in 2007. Donaire defeated unbeaten Vic Darcinian in the 5th round with a left hook, winning Knockout of the Year and launching his boxing career overnight. As the Filipino Flash, Donaire was winning and dominating. He became a 4-division world champion with a surgical jab and a bone-breaking left hook. He got famous on ESPN, HBO, and Ring magazine between 2007 and 2012. All eyes were on him. He won Fighter of the Year in 2012. He won 4 fights that year, including knockouts and decisions over top-ranked opponents. He ruled the globe. However, something was changing behind the scenes. He was aloof, quiet, concentrated, and unjoyful in victory. Success was undisputed, but fame, national expectations, and physical sacrifice were taking their toll. Donaire showed burnout early on, but nobody noticed. He gave boxing everything he had, and it always took more than it gave. While the world hailed Nonito Donaire's rise, the ring was just half the story. Behind every knockout was a guy steadily disintegrating from expectation, suffering, and his own unattainable standards. Donaire was a symbol and a boxer. Filipinos saw him as Manny Pacquiao's successor. In a staid period of boxing champions, he was refreshing for American fans. For himself, he ran from doubt, exhaustion, and the concern that his peak would be short-lived. Physically, wear was evident. Donaire's weight fluctuated due to fighting in multiple divisions. From flyweight to featherweight and back down, the cycles were brutal. His hand injuries included multiple fractures that never healed. He endured discomfort, numbing his hands to train. He rarely complained in interviews, but his eyes always said otherwise. Rachel, his wife, managed him, a boxing first. Strong, loud, and protective. The choice was criticized by fans and insiders. It blurred personal and professional boundaries for many. Promoters struggled with her. Donaire claimed she was his rock. However, his friends claimed the pair often felt immense pressure. It was hard to determine if boxing was strengthening or destroying their relationship. Cracks appeared in 2014. Donaire lost a devastating fight to Nicholas Walters that year by knockout, bloodied, beaten, and confused. He lost his invincibility. For many, it was the beginning of the end. He lost his 2012 surgical precision. Something had changed, but Donaire persisted. He persisted. More fighting. More revivals. Always pursuing. Perhaps redemption. Maybe a legacy. Maybe some peace. The fire that pushed him faded. Boxing moved on without him gently, without saying so. Post-2014. Nonito Donaire's journey was a difficult return and retreat, fighting, losing, retreating, then fighting again. Supporters hailed him a warrior. Commentators praised his heart. But beneath the accolades was a man who couldn't stop. He stopped belt fighting. He fought for meaning. As he stayed, it became clearer. He tried to avoid fate. Many termed his 2022 misstep a mistake. At 39, he faced Naoya Inoue, the boxer who had defeated him 3 years earlier. Worse this time, in 2 hard rounds, Donaire was defeated. It was more than a loss, a statement. The Filipino flash ceased. That brawl bruised more than his face. It broke something deeper. After that, Donaire vanished. No grand press tours, no interview regarding rebounding, only silence. Fans realized what transpired in the quiet. Donaire appeared broken after his unbreakable streak. His social media dropped. Inspirational posts become cryptic. He stopped talking about glory. His subtitles were cryptic about faith, pain, and tranquility. No more gym selfies. No more hopeful pronouncements. Silent updates from a man seeking to remake himself without gloves remained. Insiders whispered about his finances. Despite collecting millions over 2 decades, reports circulated of failed investments, underpaid team members, and diminishing endorsements. None of it was confirmed by Donaire. The signs were there: less travel, simpler life. A once bright star dims softly. By 2023, boxing was virtually forgotten. No major networks called. No farewell fight. The legacy documentary is absent. One name spoken in the past. Perhaps most tragically, Donaire didn't protest. He wasn't demanding praise, he was fading. Silence spoke louder than words. The end is evident for most warriors. One last fight, one last goodbye. Out go the lights. For Nonito Donaire, the finale kept changing. He didn't retire after the 2022 loss to Inoue. A few months later, he discreetly agreed to fight again. 0 press tour, no hype, just a small bout date. He lost again. He vanished again without explanation. Even though the sport forgets his name, Donaire refuses to quit. It suggests a deeper concern. Fear of being unimportant. Boxing provided him identity, structure, and purpose for 20 years. Leaving meant answering the awkward question: who's Nonito Donaire without gloves? He started training alone, without teams or trainers. A few videos appeared online. He appeared smaller, older. Still, his eyes flickered like a man seeking something only the ring could deliver. Fan anxiety rose. Why keep fighting? They requested. Why won't he rest? Donaire continues with eerie silence. No endorsements, no celebrity cameos, no Hall of Fame parties. One man hanging onto his only possession. Even his wife Rachel, who proudly controlled and promoted him, is quieter. Their public appearances are infrequent. Though neither has confirmed it, rumors of emotional strain, private strife, and separation swirl. Possibly the most haunting portion. No tabloid swirling dude here. He's not violent or self-destructive. His slow, steady slide is much more terrible. A living legend continuously training, hoping for one more shot while the world has moved on. In every boxing discourse, Nonito Donaire should have been famous. However, his legacy waned. He's rarely acknowledged with Pacquiao, Mayweather, or modern champions like Lomachenko, despite winning 4 weight classes and several Fight of the Year accolades. Not that he wasn't excellent. Donaire's grandeur was quiet. Boxing has always liked loudness. He never had the most glamorous entourage, loudest voice, or ruthless business transactions. He battled class, respected opponents, and hid scandals. That often means being disregarded in combat sports. Casual fans forget even his best wins. Fragments, YouTube clips, old posters, and foggy memories of a world-shaking left hook remain. Left hook. His country hasn't always honored him like Pacquiao. No parades, streets, or holidays were named after him. Many saw Donaire as the other person. Too American for Filipino zealots. Too Filipino for mainstream America. In between. Underappreciated and misunderstood. He's yet to find closure at 41. No big fight, goodbye. Career-spanning documentary, no. Only silence. Hall of Fame discussions feel unimportant. He responds to legacy questions modestly. I hope people remember my effort, but who remembers? With viral knockouts and YouTubers entering the ring, stars like Donaire are forgotten. They performed honorably, not because they weren't great. Honor doesn't sell boxing tickets. He stated in an interview that fighting with your heart wins more than just the scorecards. Years pass, and that deeper something feels ghostly. One that follows, whispers, and reminds him of everything he sacrificed for a sport that never returned. Donaire entered a peculiar limbo in 2024. Ghost la champion. Though not retired, he was inactive. He didn't coach, promote, or commentate. He maintained a peripheral presence in the boxing scene, releasing training vids and religious reflections, but rarely anything encouraging. Fans noticed. The fire was where, one wrote, where's joy? Insiders spoke quietly, hesitantly. They noted Donaire's despondency, mid-sentence lapses, and short training sessions. Previously humble and friendly, he now strode around rooms with a ghostly energy. He no longer discusses the future, a source claimed. He talks about the past or says nothing. He looked fit but unhealthy. Hollower face, darker eyes. He may have had eyesight difficulties due to years of head trauma and intense gym lights. There were rumors of memory loss, sleeplessness, and panic attacks. He never verified a diagnosis, but his behavior on camera, in interviews, and in public showed signs. Despite everything, Donaire showed up. To the gym, his museum-like Las Vegas training area, and the rare undercard match, sometimes watching, sometimes cornering a friend. Always alone. He smiled less and appeared less inspired. An admirer said in 2023, "When are you coming back?" He said, "I don't know if I left." It was obscure, odd, and sad, like he didn't know who he was. An echo flickered in the dark from the Filipino flair. Just like that, Nonito Donaire, one of the most technically gifted boxers of his generation, retreated into the shadows, still alive and breathing, but far from the spotlight. Nonito Donaire considered boxing a sacred craft, science and art that gave him meaning. Years passed, and that love grew chilly. Between the final bell and the forgotten headlines, his passion became retribution. He suggested it in rare interviews. Sports have changed. Noise now trumps honor. His boxing watching has declined. Friends say he avoids live fights, especially exhibitions. Former teammate, it hurts him. He doesn't say it, but you can tell. He sees players half his potential getting twice the attention he gave this sport, and he feels like it offered him nothing. He turns away from talks when boxing comes up, hesitates before talking about his former matches, and speaks about young boxers with a silent resentment, with admiration and a regret that implies he wishes he were still one of them. Donaire has recently attended modest gatherings as a guest, sitting in the back and watching quietly. He's recognized sometimes. Sometimes folks pass by without looking. It's a sobering transition for a man who once fought in full arenas and went out to thunderous shouts. He rarely addresses it. His social media shows the change. No more training montages and championship reflections. Rather, cryptic quotes arise. When the world is quiet, you hear the truth or can give everything and still not be enough. A champion seeking a return wouldn't say this. What a man grieves is invisible, only he can experience. Not just his losses haunt him, he's troubled by what the sport took from him. Youth, health, belonging, and possibly self. Nonito Donaire lives in near total solitude behind the gloves, titles, and brief public appearances. Gym activities, travel, fan contacts, and family vacations have faded from his life. He rarely leaves Las Vegas, according to friends. Former arena lights flicker silently in a gloomy house. The confident man who danced to the ring in the Filipino flag and flashed his trademark smile is gone. Today, neighbors say he's silent and reclusive, walking alone late at night with a sweatshirt pulled low and eyes fixed on the ground. His public appearances are brief. Gas stations and corner stores are short-lived. People close to Donaire feel his world has shrunk. Few visitors, calls, and even an eroding relationship with boxing peers. Many have moved on. Others stopped attempting to reach out. He no longer answers his phone, an insider said, not because he's angry. He seems unwilling to speak. Rachel, formerly his steady companion, has also disappeared. Their joint interviews, support declarations, and training films vanished. Marital tension rumors persist without confirmation. They communicate volumes with their quiet. Power couple once united by a fight now seems separated by the aftermath. Fans who get in touch are often disregarded. Comment sections are full of worries. "Champ, where are you?" Or, "We miss Nonito." But there are no responses, just a growing wall of silence. For a man who thrived on audience applause and millions of supporters, loneliness is harsh. It's not distance-induced, a sense of being forgotten. As new champions emerge and dramatic fights make headlines, Nonito Donaire remains still. His retirement is unofficial. He's not a sports celebrity. No goodbye has been announced. In all important ways, he's disappeared from boxing. His ghostly presence is sensed by those who remember, but is undetectable to those who never knew him. This leaves a guy in spiritual and professional uncertainty. Donaire regularly expressed his beliefs and how God provided him ring strength. Even his religious posts are fewer. They have a different tone when they appear. Less victory, more perseverance. He said that God sees even the worst breaks. There's no controversy in Donaire's fall, free from drugs, arrests, and tabloids. That makes it more heartbreaking. His tragedy is quiet, very quiet. In the silence of being ignored, the pain of giving all and understanding, you're simply another chapter in someone else's history. He was no villain, loudmouth, or wild brawler. A courteous, disciplined warrior, he represented Filipino pride. Respect may have cost. Many athletes remain relevant through scandal, but humility fades quickly. Now, Nonito Donaire does what? Honestly, nobody knows. Some believe he trains, others say he prays, some hope he publishes a memoir. However, he may do nothing. He may prefer the quiet, away from the lights and thoughts of his past. His narrative may be scariest there, not suffering or losses, but the potential that he's accepted this and chosen silence. That time, neglect, and fame's terrible loneliness killed the Filipino Flash. Not an opponent. Nonito Donaire left quietly. A whisper ended him. He was amazing, but excellence doesn't always guarantee fame. He isn't a fall from grace, a terrible, slow descent into quiet, a man who dedicated himself to a sport that moved on. The Filipino Flash illuminated the ring. He lives in the shadows of his past at 41, haunted by his favorite game. Former fame isolates him, and slowly being forgotten by a world that hailed his wins. Perhaps the saddest aspect is that he never quit fighting, even without an audience. Comment below if you recall Nonito Donaire, the boxer and man. Let him know you've seen, heard, and remembered him. Sometimes the quietest heroes carry the heaviest silence.